What up? Decided to make a video. It's been about 2 years, and I've been doing a lot of inner work, lots of living, lots of lifing. And 2 weeks ago, I was on a podcast. I did an interview with my friend Yaj on his podcast called All That Jazz. And if you want to check that out, I highly recommend you do. It's on his podcast. You can find it on YouTube called All That Jazz, and you'll see it there. And also check out his channel in general. He does a lot of interesting interviews, and he's a good guy. But it did put a little bug in me to make my own video again. It's been a long time. And I know I only have about 11 people that watch these videos, but I don't care. And all I'm hoping, all I'm praying is that one person finds any of these videos helpful. Then I rest well. So I wanted to share because there's many lessons have come up. And one of the big lessons that's arisen lately is about impeccable authenticity, impeccable honesty. There's a good colleague of mine, really wise lady, and it was her birthday. And I asked her, what's the most important thing you have learned in all your years? And she said, everyone is lying about everything all of the time. And they lie so much that they believe their own bullshit. So good. So I looked at that in myself, and I did see that I'm not as pure and honest and true as I thought I was. I always, in my arrogance, think I'm the most honest man in the world. Come to find out, no, not necessarily. And, the things that I'm dishonest about are primarily in myself. However, I've been so dishonest about these things in myself that they start becoming unconscious positions, unconscious things that are held and affecting me. And then I start seeing in all people and all things. And when you're devoted to God, devotion is the truth. And so when you make that devotion, you give that devotion in the core of your heart to yourself. Everything that comes up within you, every feeling, every thought, the first question should be, is that true? And I was talking to another old wise man that I know, and we were talking about love and relationships, and he said, I have one word, vulnerability. And my knee-jerk reaction was, I am vulnerable. And the second I said that, it came up in mind, are you really, Kevin? And I saw that, no, actually I'm not. There's a lot of defenses, a lot of walls, a lot of things. And so looking at that took me on a journey of honesty. And as I've been talking with others, what I've been seeing, the dishonesty is, for instance, within others. So for instance, there was a lady who's a spiritual student, and she has a lot of guilt. And she was saying, well, it's all karmic. And in that was a lack of taking responsibility, right? So responsibility is tough, especially for your darker moments, darker actions. Some are inexcusable, and it's just too much to take, and you're not a bad person. You don't want to fall into the guilt and the shame. So you look for something to project accountability on, responsibility on. So you say, it's all karma, or there is no doer. It's all just God unfolding. All of that is only true in context. And what's the real context beneath it all is fear. You don't want to be responsible because then there's the potential punishment. All these things are in the mind. And so when you're holding that, you could pretend that it's all karma, it's all the doer. But what is that doing about how you feel about it and how you're walking in your path? It's not helping. I bet the bank on that. And so taking responsibility is the most important thing that I've learned on the path of healing and spirituality. It's easy to look outside of yourself and say, well, it was that person. They're a bad person, and they put me in this situation. It was my parents. They traumatized me. They misled me. This person misled me. They're abusive. Whatever it is, it's always a looking outward. However, that does nothing about your responsibility for your actions, because no matter what, choices get made. And yes, there can be, within the certain context, mitigating factors of levels of responsibility. But if you're real You take responsibility for yourself, for your own actions. It's no one else's fault. No one had a gun to your head. You did it. And then when you look deeper into it, it's like, and you wanted it. And you chose it. And through taking that responsibility, it's very empowering. Because if a power is outside of yourself that's forced you to do things you didn't want to do, well, then you're in a bad situation. It's when you reclaim the power of, you know what, I am responsible. I made these decisions. That you start reclaiming your power. And also you're stepping into truth, where you're saying, hey, I know it's ugly. I know it's uncomfortable, but it's true. And so when you start claiming the truth, then you can get into more, confessing these things to the Lord and say, you know what, I did this. Instead of this lie we tell ourselves, I was abused and all these bad things happened to me. When you really look deep, you can see your own part in it. And again, different contexts have different levels of responsibility and mitigating factors. However, responsibility, being honest, be honest about your heart, your intentions. And even though you may have been in a situation that was not healthy, that could be, your parents, friendships, work, relationships, different things. And those all, of course, contribute to our life situations. But there's always decision within yourself. And when you start getting honest and seeking that responsibility, seek it. Where am I responsible for this? You can start peeling back and say, oh, wow, I was actually choosing this. I actually wanted this. You might not have wanted the ultimate results, the pain and the bill that comes with these things, but you did choose these things, and actions have consequences. And so strengthening your integrity, strengthening your own inner sense of power and your own truth, the truth, the integrity, the honesty, and all of these things allow the walls of bullshit to fall down. And then you can start seeing clearly that you've always had your own ability, your own agency to choose. And yes, you've made bad decisions. And yes, they were very not pleasant. Responsibility is still on you. And of course, in all situations, there's, especially with other people, they do have their own contributing responsibilities and karmic debts. But you don't worry about them. Look at yourself. No one is innocent in this game of life. It's either in this life or the life past, where something within you needs to be looked at. And when you start choosing the truth, like radically choosing the truth, you'll notice in your mind that certain things, certain lies that you would tell yourself, because there's an intentionality in your heart that's saying, you know what, I want to see the truth. Now, certain situations could be recontextualized. Certain things might flash in your awareness about, whoa, I'm not as innocent as I thought. Oh, I was choosing this. And even if you're not aware of your own responsibility, it is there in your consciousness somewhere. And it's affecting you. So the more you're choosing truth, the more you're allowing truth. And the Holy Spirit will start illuminating it in your awareness. And then you can start seeing these things that you are holding and all these little errors that need to be corrected, that need to be forgiven in yourself. And so, impeccable authenticity, honesty, and honoring responsibility. It's a good practice, and I recommend it. So I think that's it. Quick little video. Hope someone gets something out of it. And maybe I'll make more. So until then, it's all about truth, love, and healing. Peace, chicken grease. And I hope to see you again. Have a good day.